Welcome to AER Int channel, and welcome back to sheet metal cores. In the previous video, we started off our enclosure by making the base and adding some walls using a miter flange. And in this video, we're going to expand on that and add some more details with cutout to the front. Firstly, let's add some holes at the front. These could be for cables or something like that, and there's a few ways that we could add this. We could use the hole wizard, the simple hole option, or just an extruded cut. For the simple hole, we can see we don't really have much control over this. We can just change the diameter, but we can't really change the position without going in and editing the sketch. So personally, I prefer to just use the hole wizard. Or maybe even just draw a sketch and dimension that and then use an extruded cut. In this case, because we want round holes, I'm gonna use the hole wizard. So I'm going to select the hole wizard, which is on the features tab. Just gonna choose a simple hole and then say as a dowel hole 10mm diameter, but we can set whatever size we want. I'm gonna go to the positions tab. I'm gonna position the first one on this front face here, and to help position it, I'm gonna use a center line so we can figure out the exact halfway point of that front face. So I'm gonna select the center line, go normal to, and then just start from the midpoint on this left hand edge. Go all the way over to the right hand edge. And then finish on the midpoint here. So now we've got a line that's halfway up the front face, and we can use that to line up the hole. In terms of the distance, I'm gonna make it 20mm from the edge. And when we are adding holes and cutouts near the edge, try not to make it too close to the bends or to the edge of the material, because some manufacturers might have limits on how close we can go to the edge or to the bends. But it's always worth checking with our own manufacturer. Then I'm just gonna add a second hole here, and I'm gonna make this one 20 from the first hole. So in terms of our dimensioning, it really depends what we're trying to achieve. We might want to have it so these holes are always 20mm apart. So if this first one changes, the second one changes with it. But we might want to have it so the second hole is always 40mm from the left. And in that case, it might be better if we just dimension the hole directly from the left. So if the first hole changes, the second hole won't change. So it really depends what we want to achieve in our design. When we're happy with those two holes, press OK. And now the cuts are added. But now if we look in 3D, we can see the cuts have gone all the way through the model. We've got the front and the back. And actually we just wanted to cut the front. So let's go in and edit the hole wizard feature. And let's just change it from through wall cut to maybe something like a blind, say 10mm. So it just goes through the front there. Now we've added the two holes. Next up, let's add something like maybe a cutout from some ports, maybe a USB port or something like that. To do this, let's start a sketch on this front face. Firstly, I'm going to add some construction lines, so we can always make sure these two initial holes are lined up with this board. So I'm gonna get a center line or a construction line, and I'm gonna draw a line between the two center points of these holes. If we hover over the outside circular edge, we can get the center point. So I'm gonna draw a line like this. Then I'm gonna draw another line from the center of that line all the way down to the bottom. And now we can use the second construction line to line up our cuts. So we can use a center rectangle. Start it from the midpoint of that second line, and then just set some dimensions. We can also round off the corners here using the sketch fillet, and then select all. And if that looks good, we can go to the sheet metal tab and press extruded cut. I'm going to link to thickness, so it just cuts through that front sheet. So now we've made that initial cut, and no matter where those circles move, that board cut will also move. And I'm just gonna rename it as something like board cut. If we are working with something like a PCB, a printed circuit board, then it can be really helpful to make a simple assembly. put our basic sheet enclosure into it, and then also add our PCB model, and then we can edit our enclosure part within the assembly. And that allows us to actually line up the cutouts on the enclosure with any features on the PCB. And we can also link them together, so it means if our board model changes, then the boards will move automatically. So now we have our two holes for the cables and holes for the board. And if we've just got one set of cables and boards, then this could be fine. But maybe we've got another one on the other side. So we can actually select those features, hold down Ctrl and also select one of the middle planes. And then we can use mirror, which is on the features tab. And we can add those cuts onto the opposite side as well. So this is a good reason to use something like a center rectangle when we start, because we've always got those base planes in the middle of our model. And they are really easy to use for mirroring. Imagine if we needed a lot more than this. Instead of just the two sets, we could then delete the mirror feature. And we could use something like a linear pattern instead. So it could select the board cuts and the holes, and then go to the features tab, linear pattern. Now we need to select the pattern direction. So I can select any of these straight lines, and then the pattern spacing. Let's try something like 40mm. And then the instances, looks like there's too many there now, so let's just drop it down. And it looks like 7 fits in pretty well. Then when we press OK, we've got those cutouts all the way along the front. Just one thing, if we look at them from the front, we can see they're not quite even. So maybe we can go back in. We can edit the pattern spacing slightly to even them out a little bit. We can also use the measure tool to really accurately check whether we've got this spacing correct. At this stage we can also just flatten the part to check everything looks okay. So we can see we've got these pen lines for the folded over section at the top of the edges. We've got all the cutouts at the front. So in this video we've started to add a bit more detail to the model, and to make those cutouts at the front that just make the enclosure a little bit more functional. Often we find in sheet metal that we're repeating the same sort of cuts and features, so things like the patterning and the mirror features become really useful and great time savers. In the next video we will add a lid to this model. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe if you like. I hope it can be a little helpful and useful.